Hello once again, IU East Volleyball fans. You're watching IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock, along with the IU East Assistant Athletic Director and Sports Information Director, Kyle Wright. Kyle, earlier, the Red Wolves fell to the Grace College Lancers. Now that I remember what it is. They fell to the Lancers earlier 3-1. What were some of the things we saw in that match?
Improved play for IU East. For those that were at the home match on Wednesday against Judson and saw the match they just played against Grace, you'd have to say that they definitely did things better, particularly on the ball control. And still not where they want to be, I'm sure. I'm sure they are looking for improvement in all things before the end of the season. But definitely a step forward. Obviously, these are matches we want to win, so until the wins start coming, we won't say that we've kind of arrived. But if you're looking for progress, definitely progress compared to Wednesday night against Judson. Still a 4-set loss, but I think if whatever number on a 1 to 10 scale you would have put the performance against Judson, it was definitely a notch or two higher against Grace.
What do you think about the way that Bailey Gates and Katrina Detweiler and Morgan Steinbrenner all stepped up there in the fourth set?
Well, Bailey in particular, I can't wait to get the stat sheet from that match. Bailey had 7 blocks against Judson. She had to have close to that against Grace. She was there was a stretch in particular, I think she had 3 or 4 in a row. If you get 1 per set, you're All-America caliber as far as, or at least All-Conference as far as middle, as far as the blocks you want to get. So she's averaging about 2, which is unheard of. So for her in particular, and granted, there's more of the game than blocks. As we talked during that first match, you got to have every part of the game functioning. But for someone coming out of school, I mentioned during the first broadcast, she didn't even put her blocking stats on her high school biography sheet. Just a real pleasant surprise, the work she's done in the front row.
Well, of course, the Red Wolves getting ready to play the Goshen Maple Leafs. They went 9-25 last year, ending the season with 8 consecutive losses. Defensive specialist Missy represented Goshen on the All-Crossroads League team, and Middle Hiller Melanie Meyer was honorable mention All-Conference as well. So it should be definitely another interesting matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, that 9-25 record is misleading. Goshen is another Crossroads League team, the same conference as Grace that we just played. A very strong league. 9-25 in the Crossroads League would probably translate to about 20 wins in a lot of other leagues. So don't be misled by that 9-25 record. Goshen would have been a very solid team last year. I believe they have a decent number of returners and some all-conference players returning. So this is going to be a respectable test for IU East.
What do you think about them? How do you think these two teams will match up this evening?
So hard to tell. It's Goshen's first match. It's only our IU East third match. The one thing I am curious about, normally I wouldn't compare year-to-year matches, but in this case I will, because IU East had a ton of blocks against Goshen last year, which was a 4-set loss. The only reason I mention that, the one place where IU East does have a lot of returning players is the front line, so I'll be curious to see if that factor, the high number of blocks, translates to this year's matchup.
All right, well, looks like we're about ready to get underway here. IU East looking for a win here in this match against the Goshen Maple Leafs. Once again, after they fell last match to the Grace College Lancers with scores of 25-21, 25-22, and 25-20. Those were the 3 sets that Grace won, and IU East took the first set 25-23. So definitely excited to see the Red Wolves play here this evening, once again here at Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana.
Like to see the Red Wolves get on the winning side of the score, but not only for obvious reasons. Of course, you want to win before you want to lose, but just mentally, you can see that the team getting better, and I think they'll continue to get better. But just for the kind of keeping the confidence level where it needs to be, you like to see some results of your work. So just for that, hoping the Red Wolves can get on the winning side of the ledger for the first time in 2014.
Now, these 2 matches tonight, do you think that will help prepare them for the 2 matches tomorrow? Is there tougher competition expected tomorrow morning?
Hard to say. The 2 matches tomorrow, IU Kokomo, which had a great record last year, but maybe didn't play as many tough opponents. And then Indiana Tech's the other opponent, which is kind of the opposite. They had a very tough schedule and not a good record. Goshen kind of fell in this category too. Yeah, I would say so. The big advantage I think IU East still have in this whole tournament is actually they played Wednesday, whereas Goshen, they're taking the court for the first time tonight. So there's always going to be a few jitters involved. Hopefully IU East that'll play to their advantage.
All right, we're underway. IU East has the 1-0 win. There's another point up front. 2-0 now for the Red Wolves. Katrina Detweiler back serving for IU East. Spent a lot of time serving, and in the back row last match for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Detweiler. Morgan Dodds up front with the block. Point, Red Wolves.
And picking up where they left off last year, 2 blocks already for IU East. Mentioned they actually lost that match in 4. Some serve percentage problems were the issue in that game. So if the blocks keep up and the other things are kept under control, obviously early, but obviously a very encouraging start here.
3-0 Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Detweiler. Back toward the backside. This one will be off the hands of the Red Wolves and give a point to the Maple Leafs, 3-1.
And I'm going to be a lot quieter this match doing the stats as well. I'm sure many of you will say that's a good thing, but yeah, we'll have we promised live stats. We're not going to have those for this one, but we will have the full box score up on IUERedwolves.com very soon after this match is over.
Megan Strock, the server for the Maple Leafs, keeping the ball alive. The Red Wolves trying to, now 3-2. Maple Leafs scoring their second point of the set. Back row for the Red Wolves right now. Livingston, Yoder, and Detweiler in the back row. From left to right. Here's Livingston. Hit back toward the Maple Leafs back row. There's a kill. Stays in bounds for the Maple Leafs, tied at 3. An interesting start here between the two teams. Here's the serve from Strock into the net, and point Red Wolves. 4-3 now for IU East. Definitely have to give Kyle some credit for doing all the stuff on the screen and doing stats as well. Tied up at 4. So the Goshen libero back to serve.
Good attempt by Madison Yoder on that. I do believe it was going to be in. Couldn't quite get it in, but probably the right choice to try to get a hand on it.
5-4 lead for Goshen. Yoder there able to get a hand on the ball. Cross to Livingston. And blocked there by the Maple Leafs. 6-4 now for Goshen.
I don't know if it is translating on the screen. The person serving for Goshen, Missy McCowiak. Of course, I get the toughest name on the list. A lot of zip on this serve. She hits a change up there, but the first two had a lot of zip on it. Has gotten IU East out of system early on.
Double hit called there on the Red Wolves. It gives another point to Goshen. 7-4 now. Lead increased to 3. Here's the serve from McCowiak. That's the name that I ran into earlier when I was talking about the...
Yeah, there's a lot of zip on that ball. Red Wolves, I mean, again, that's volleyball. They're going to see a lot of folks with some zip on the ball like that, but I would say this is the hardest server they've faced between the match against Grace and this very early stages of this match against Goshen.
The 8-4 serve. Steinbrenner up front for the Red Wolves. Yoder able to keep the ball alive down on the floor. Livingston with the point for the Red Wolves. Now 8-5. Caitlin Kelly coming in to serve for the Red Wolves. Kelly is a 5'10 freshman. Went to Franklin Community High School in Franklin, Indiana. This one out of bounds off of the Maple Leafs, 8-6.
big-time game of runs early on. I think 3 in a row for IU East, then like 8 out of 9 for Goshen, now a couple in a row for the Red Wolves.
Another point for the Red Wolves, 8-7, back within 1. Red Wolves definitely on a good run right now. Coming back, trying to take the lead back. There's Livingston. Long kill, goes long, out of bounds, ties things up at 8. One thing that's kind of throwing me off right now is we've got 2 games going on, so I'm hearing whistles and screams and stuff like that. And
I've always been amazed that I've never seen a player confused by that. I don't know if you've been doing it for years and years, you're just used to it. But yeah, as someone who's sat on the front row doing steps for many years, I've been thrown for a loop for that many times. But I've never seen players stop play thinking that the whistle was for them. So one of the many things that I'm impressed with by volleyball players that can play at this level.
Another kill attempt went long, gives the IU East Red Wolves a 1-point lead, 9-8 in the first set. It's Caitlin Kelly over to Yoder. And here's Livingston, gently over the net. Kill picked up there by Caitlin Kelly. Steinbrenner over the net with a point for the Red Wolves, a 2-point lead now, 10-8.
The match on the other court that got Indiana Tech against IU Kokomo, the 2 teams that IU East is going to play tomorrow. In a perfect world, we'd be able to take a break and watch this match. But on the other hand, this will give the Red Wolves more relaxation time for tomorrow, to get ready for tomorrow, I should say. So pluses and minuses both ways as you see that serve go long.
After the serve went long, that gives Goshen 1 point, 10-9 here in the first set. Kelsey Smith going back to serve, a 5'9" junior out of Lima, Ohio. Steinbrenner, that one will go long out of bounds and tied at 10.
See, Madison Mangus is kind of playing the primary setter role in this match. Caitlin Kelly did in the first 2 matches for IU East. We mentioned IU East has the one place where they have a ton of depth is setter. 3 people with very strong backgrounds as a setter, both in high school and in Madison's case at the college level. So giving Madison a chance, at least in this first set, as the primary setter. Madison played at West Virginia State last year, which is a Division II program, and she was a starter there.
So a point to the Red Wolves after 2 hits called on the Maple Leafs. 12-10 now. IU East with the lead. Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Katrina Detweiler and Morgan Steinbrenner kind of caught up there on each other in the front row. But
who do you want to give credit for the kill for that?
That one was hard to tell from here, honestly, being back here behind the court.
Tell you what, you'll have to go to the box score at IUERedwolves.com tomorrow to see who we gave it to. That's how we'll build our web views.
13-10. IU East has the lead. And that one out of bounds, and a point to the Red Wolves, lead now by 4. I believe the largest lead of the set for IU East. Livingston serving for IU East right now. Detweiler with the point for the Red Wolves. Nice attack there by her, and Goshen is going to take a timeout. IU East leads things right now 15-10 here in the first set. We'll be right back with more Indiana University East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Red Wolves up by 5, 15-10 here in the first set against the Goshen Maple Leafs. Goshen just took a timeout after they did have the 2 or 3 point lead at one point. IU East has now come back and has the lead by 5. Here's the serve from Livingston. Gooder there, able to keep the ball alive. Here's Detweiler again. Detweiler blocking up front. Madison Vegas with a nice block up front for the Red Wolves, now 16-10.
Madison showing some nice ups there. I don't know how tall the person she went up against was. I do know Madison was the shorter of the two, so nice play to get the point for IU East.
16-10. There's Morgan Steinbrenner. Point for the Red Wolves, 17-10, up by 7.
Red Wolves on their best run really since the first set against Judson. A 7-point lead, their biggest not only of the set but of this entire day.
That one goes out of bounds and gives a point to the Maple Leafs, now 17-11. Looks like the server is going to be Angela Detering. Detweiler for the Red Wolves, now 18-11.
Only Katrina knows if she meant to or not, but hit kind of a curveball there. Got the outside right side of the ball. That put enough spin on it. I thought for sure it was going to go out, but it had so much spin that it spun and dropped in for a point.
I think there may have been a little contact too there on the Goshen side. I wasn't really able to see it that well, but IU East up by 7, 18-11 in the first set. Now it's going to drop in front of the net, and they're the lead to 6 points, 18-12. Here's the serve from number 7, Jamie Stack. There's Detweiler again. That one's going to stay in bounds for another point to the Red Wolves, 19-12.
That was a really impressive angle from Katrina. We're about 30 feet above the court, and we could really see not only placement in the court, but also placement over the arms of the Goshen block. Some three-dimensional work by Katrina, getting a point for the Red Wolves.
Madison Mangus back serving for the Red Wolves. Mallory Livingston making the right decision there and letting it go out of bounds. Now up by 8. Another timeout by the Grace Maple Leafs. IU East with its largest lead of the day, 20-12. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
Welcome back to IU East volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Cal Wright. IU East up with an 8-point advantage over the Maple Leafs, 20-12. There's the serve from Madison Mangus. Looks like it may have went long there. And now down to a 7-point lead, but still a large lead for the Red Wolves as we near the end of the first set, 20-13.
Key not to let up here for IU East. They ran away with that first set against Judson on Wednesday, which we keep referring to. But even though they ran away with it, there was a bit of a let-up toward the end. And in retrospect, I wonder if that's what affected them early in the second set, which did not go so well. So key to, obviously they're in a very strong position for this first set, even if they have a letdown, but ideally don't have the letdown and keep the momentum going right into set number 2.
First one there, out of bounds, now 20-14. Lots of action up toward the net on the IU East side. 20-15 now after the point to the Goshen Maple Leafs. So IU East with a 5-point lead. Detweiler able to keep the ball, but not in time was Madison Mangus to try to keep the ball alive. Redwall still with the 4-point lead, 20-16. Still definitely in a great position to win the first set. Bailey Gates, nice effort once again. And a kill there on the Goshen Maple Leafs. 20-17, lead narrowed down to 3.
5 in a row for Goshen. Definitely want to stop this run sooner rather than later.
Here's the serve from Goshen. Morgan Dobbs up front. Nice effort for the Red Wolves. There's Detweiler. And Livingston just short of keeping the ball in the air. 20-18. And IU East will take a timeout after being up by 8, now only up by 2. We'll be right back. IU East leads 20-18 on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
Welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East now only up by 2 after being up by 8. 6 in a row for the Maple Leafs. There's the serve. This one's going to go out of bounds and a point to the Red Wolves, 21-18. Now 4 points away from having the first set to a close.
Maybe a bit of a break there for IU East. The Goshen attacker elected to go for the kill on the second contact. I didn't think they were that far out of system and resulted in a point for IU East.
Little tip there on the play, out of bounds, 21-19. Megan Strock serving once again for Goshen. Here's Livingston. That one's going to stay in bounds. 22-19 now for IU East.
A big swing at a big time. Not only need the point, but whenever you get an authoritative kill like that one was, that tends to give you a bit of energy, and that's definitely something the Red Wolves need to break this little mini run, or actually big mega run that Goshen's been on.
Nice serve there by Bailey Gates. And another point to the Red Wolves, 23-19.
Mentioned how the smaller ones love those plays. That technically goes as a kill for Madison Mangus, so that's something she'll see the score sheet and smile.
Red Wolves 2 points away from having the first set to a close. That one stays in bounds. As Goshen just kind of stood there and they had to make the decision on whether that was going to stay in bounds or if it was going to go out. So set point here for the Red Wolves, 24-19. Here's the serve from Gates. This one to go out of bounds off the Red Wolves, 24-20. Madison Yoder back in for IU East. Livingston, Detweiler, Yoder takes up the back row. And there's a point to the Red Wolves. That'll bring the first set to a close. IU East takes the first set 25-20 and leads the match against the Goshen Maple Leafs 1-0. We'll be right back with more IU East Red Wolves Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Kyle Wright. IU East has the 1-0 lead over the Goshen Maple Leafs after just defeating them in the first set, 25-20. Kyle, what did we see there in the first set?
The big early lead made the difference. I think 20-12 was the peak lead. Again, would have liked to closed it out a little more efficiently. I think 25-20 is what it wound up being. So Goshen got it within 2 at a couple points. So again, well, this is 3 matches and 3 first sets won for IU East. So maybe more than ever, getting this second set, if not actually winning it, playing very strongly, ideally winning it. That's kind of the next step. That's what's interesting about these early season matches. You're doing everything for the first time. You're coming back from being down. You're trying to hold a lead. You're playing back-to-back matches for the first time, which is what IU East is doing. So still looking to see. They've had 2 chances now to build on a first set win. Hasn't been able to do that yet. Let's see if they can do it now.
Both teams definitely keeping this rally alive. This one's going to go out of bounds off the Red Wolves, it looks like.
Like I say, touch on Goshen on Bailey's attempt.
Okay, so the point will actually go to the Red Wolves. It's actually up on the scoreboard right now as Goshen's point. That one into the net, so tied at 1. Megan Strock in to serve for the Maple Leafs. Madison Mangus sets the ball for Morgan Dobbs, but that one will go be tipped out of bounds and give a point to the Red Wolves, 2-1.
Morgan saw the angle that was open, just couldn't quite squeeze it in between the angle that was open and the line.
Apparently, Goshen has the 2-1 lead. Tied up at 2.
For those curious about tomorrow's opposition, Indiana Tech takes the first set against IU Kokomo, 25-22. Just out of your camera's view on court 2.
Well, the official scoreboard here in the gym has 2-2. Seems like maybe there's been a little miscommunication possibly.
I'm agreeing. I got 2-2 as well. I'll concur. 2-2. Or now 3-2 after that misfire on the serve.
All right, so Goshen leads things 3-2. It's the serve. And that'll be a point to the Red Wolves and tie things back up at 3. Bailey Gates back to serve for IU East. Detweiler in the back row as well. And that'll be a point to the Red Wolves. They'll take the 1-point lead, 4-3.
Haven't seen Bailey serve up course, but close, but she must have a ton of topspin on that because I thought that was going to hit the folded-in bleachers, and it sunk so quickly. I mean, it was not close to being out. It sunk about 3 feet in. So Bailey's got some firepower on that serve.
Nice blocks up front by the Red Wolves. Madison Mangus setting the ball. There's Livingston. Blocked there by Dobbs, and the 5-3 lead now for IU East.
All right, this is what we wanted to see as far as starting the set strong after winning a first. Again, 5-3, too early to declare all ills to be cured, but definitely a step in the right direction. See if the Red Wolves can build on this little advantage they've gotten early in the set.
Looks like they're cleaning up the floor a little bit, possibly. Some moisture on the floor, possibly. 5-3 lead now for the Red Wolves. Bailey Gates still back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. That one hits inbounds. Now 6-3 for IU East. As you mentioned just a moment ago, her past few serves have kind of looked like they're going to hit the bleachers, but that one, I don't know if maybe they just misjudged it a little bit or what. I don't know really.
Yeah, that one was no doubt is going to be in. Just enough firepower on it that they couldn't really do anything about it. Nice up by Katrina.
That's the open spot on the floor. Closes a lead with 2, 6-4 now for IU East and Goshen. Red Wolves still have the lead, 6-4. And here's the serve into the net by Kelsey Smith off of the Maple Leafs.
Looked like it may have hit the wrong part of her hand. It almost looked like it caught the perimeter of the hand as opposed to the spot you usually see them hit. Definitely didn't have as much oomph on it as I assume that she wanted it to have.
Nice job up front by Mallory Livingston. That one just past Katrina Detweiler, 7-5.
That was one of those Goshen, from the looks of things, in their offensive system throughout the point. IU East never really got in it, and it's one of those things that great hustle to extend the point, but just kind of wore the Red Wolves down, playing at a disadvantage for that long.
Out off the top of the net and back onto the Maple Leaf side. Increases the IU East lead once again by 3, 8-5.
IU East with, sorry to interrupt you, IU East with 8 points in this set, and 4 of them freebies, either aces or mistakes by Goshen on the serve.
Mega's trying to keep the ball alive. Yoder gets it across the net. And once again, it hits the open spot on the floor to close it within 2, 8-6. Jamie Stack serving for Goshen. Looked like Detweiler with the kill. 9-6 lead now for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Madison Yoder. Now we'll go to the floor on the Red Wolves side, 9-7. It's kind of like we talked about earlier in the Grace game. There's kind of a three-point barrier now between the two teams. It can't seem to get without.
Yeah, I would liken it to, I can't believe I'm likening this to an NBA game, but in the NBA, if you can get a team to call timeout twice in a row, that means you're in pretty good shape, because you know how it is, the NBA, everyone makes a run. Same idea here in the sense that if one team, it actually happened in the first set for IU East, if you can force the other team to have to be the one to call 2 consecutive timeouts, that means you're probably in pretty good shape, because that means you've strung 2 runs together. IU East did it in the first set. No one's really made a run here in this one, but yeah, I'd say the first team that has to call a timeout is going to be at a disadvantage in this set, and if it's 2 timeouts in a row, so much the better.
Going out of bounds off of the Red Wolves, ties things up at 9. It's the serve from Lisa Rodriguez. Nice effort there by the Maple Leafs to take the 1-point lead, 10-9.
Again, Red Wolves out of system on the ball control. We're going to see a timeout. Not as obvious as it was against Judson. That's where we were seeing a lot of flat-out aces and things of that nature. Here, just some, they're not misses, but IU East unable to get a free swing on the ball, and that's opening some things up for Goshen.
All right, so we have a timeout. Goshen leads by 1, 10-9. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And we're back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Cal Wright. Goshen just took the 1-point lead before the timeout. Here's the ball back in play. Up front, Bailey Gates with a nice block. Ties things up at 10. And Madison Mangus is going to go back to serve for the Red Wolves. Mangus is a 5'6" sophomore out of Muncie, Indiana. Getting ready to serve. Try to take the lead back from the Goshen Maple Leafs. That went off the hands of Mangus. Give the 1-point lead to Goshen. 11-10. Looks like number 13 is going to check in for the Maple Leafs. And that is Lexa Magnuson.
That was quick thinking by Melanie Meyer, who had that last kill for Goshen on the second strike. Saw an opening, took advantage of it.
Morgan Dobbs, nice effort up front for IU East. And then a point to Goshen. Kyle, what happened there?
Someone in the net, usually the down official signals a number. They haven't yet. I guess it was obvious for those closer on the floor, but one of the Red Wolf blockers was in the net.
Maple Leafs with the 2-point lead. And that one will go out of play and give the point to the Red Wolves, 12-11. Narrows the lead down to 1. The serve from Detweiler.
The attacker for Goshen, Sam Heberling, definitely in the net on that one.
Tied up at 12. Detweiler back to serve. Here's the serve. And this one high in the air, almost out. This one back across the net. Yoder able to get a hand on it, but that one will go outside of the antenna and give a point to the Goshen Maple Leafs, 13-12.
Point you hate to lose. That really should have been a free ball coming IU East way. Instead, it turned into point Goshen. Those are ones that coaches. There's some types of points coaches can live with losing. That was not one of them.
Bailey Gates is able to get the ball back across for the Red Wolves. A point to IU East, tied up at 13. Bailey Gates back to serve for the Red Wolves, the 5'10 freshman. That one drops to the floor and gives the Red Wolves the 1-point lead back.
Nice touch by Morgan Steinbrenner. A mid-air adjustment, pretty much without even adjusting her swing. I presume she was planning on hitting that ball 100 miles an hour. In mid-swing, she changed it to a tip in a perfect spot for a point.
One goes way back, but Goshen able to keep the ball alive. 2 hits called on the Maple Leafs, and a point to the Red Wolves. IU East has the 15-13 lead over the Goshen Maple Leafs. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East just took a 2-point lead over the Goshen Maple Leafs, 15-13, as they had to come back from being a couple down. But things starting to go in the Red Wolves' favor. Bailey Gates back to serve for IU East. IU East has the 1-0 lead over the Maple Leafs after winning the first set 25-20. There's a point to Goshen. 15-14. There's the lead down to 1. Kelsey Smith and another Goshen teammate in for the Maple Leafs. Here's the serve. Nice effort there by Livingston. Morgan Steinbrenner up front. Not quite sure what happened there.
Line judge called it out. Understandably, I think he was more interested in self-preservation than being able to see the line. It'll even out over the course of the year, but one of those, it's hard to call a line when you're jumping in the air about to get slammed by a volleyball.
Tied up at 15. Detweiler in the back row. Unable to keep the ball in the air. Gives the 1-point lead to Goshen. Served by Kelsey Smith into the net. Ties things back up at 16. Caitlin Kelly, the freshman setter out of Franklin, going back to serve for the Red Wolves. Here comes the serve. And that one will stay in bounds and give a point to the Maple Leafs, 17-16. Nice effort there in the back row by the Maple Leafs. This one to go out of bounds off of the Red Wolves and give Goshen a 2-point lead once again, 18-16.
That was a nice play by Jamie Stack, the Goshen attacker. I don't know if she's left-handed or not. If she's not, that was really impressive, but she used that left hand to go around the IU East defenders.
There's another point to the Red Wolves, 18-17, only trailing by 1 as we near the end of the second set.
I think they're going to call the double hit on the IU East set.
Lead back up to 2 for the Maple Leafs. Jamie Stack serving for Goshen. And that one just over the net onto the floor and increases the Goshen lead by 3.
Kind of interesting that worked. Madison Menges threw a couple of quick sets at Goshen, and usually don't see someone follow up that quickly, which may have been what the Goshen setter was thinking with the element of surprise, but it definitely worked.
There's Detweiler, no one able to get back for the Red Wolves to keep the ball alive. 21-17 now for the Goshen Maple Leafs. Coach Abby Niekamp is going to take a timeout as the Red Wolves trail by 4. You're watching IU East Red Wolves Volleyball. IU East trails 21-17 on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
Welcome back to Indiana University East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Right now, IU East trails the Goshen Maple Leafs 21-17 in the second set. But IU East has the 1-0 lead in the match after winning the first set 25-20. Here's the serve. Madison Mangus keeping the ball alive for the Red Wolves. Goshen trying to get a kill there. And out of bounds by Morgan Steinbrenner. 22-17. Only 3 points away now for Goshen. Just gently over the net for the Maple Leafs and off the hands of the IU East back row, 23-17. Kyle, what do you do here if you're the Red Wolves?
Not in a great position to, obviously. If nothing else, volleyball being such a momentum sport, okay, is it realistic to come back and win this set? I mean, we'll hope for the best, but realistically, probably not. But again, with volleyball momentum being so important, if you can get to 22, 23 points, get some momentum going for that third set, which will be pivotal if Goshen indeed does hold on to win this set. That would be a good start, and if you happen to win a few extra points in the process to actually pull out the set, so much the better. But got to get some momentum going back that way. If not to get out of this set, then certainly for good momentum for the second one.
Well, the serve on the last play went into the net to give IU East a point that made it 23-18, and then that play there gave the Red Wolves another point and cuts the Goshen lead to 4, 23-19, off the hands of the libero and cuts the lead to 3. And there's going to be a timeout on the floor, so IU East cuts the lead to 3. Goshen has the lead right now, 23-20. We'll be right back with IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is.
Welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Goshen leads 23-20. That one is going to be on the line and give a point to the Maple Leafs, 24-20.
That may have been the quickest timeout on record. Sorry to cut the commercial short, but both teams were back on the court within, I'd say, 15 seconds. So whatever message both coaches wanted to deliver, they did it very quickly.
Here's the serve. Madison Mangus sets the ball. Here's Detweiler over to the Goshen libero. There's Detweiler once again to the libero again. This one falls to the floor, and Goshen will take set number 2, 25-20. And ironically enough, that was the score in the first set that IU East won. So 25-20, Goshen wins the second set. The match tied at 1. We'll be back with more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Match tied at 1 between the Goshen Maple Leafs and the IU East Red Wolves. Kyle, tell us a little bit about what we saw there in the second set.
Again, it starts with ball control, and it just got away from IU East a little bit in the latter stages of the second set. Again, not as pronounced as some of the early matches, but enough that just IU East couldn't get a solid swing on the ball when it got to the third strike, and that just meant advantage Goshen. So it wasn't on the screen, it probably didn't look like a dramatic breakdown. It probably looked like Goshen was maybe the team on the offensive, whereas IU East was always finding itself on the defensive, and that, to my eyes, is why. So really just if it can clean up the ball control just a little bit, I would certainly put our hitters up against anyone. So hopefully can get that cleaned up, and if we can get some swings on it, can hopefully win the third set and go on to get a win here.
Like I said, match tied at 1. Both teams have taken a set apiece at 25-20. And just taking a look over at court 2, Indiana Tech leads IU Kokomo 22-21. So we're ready to go here, though, with Goshen and IU East. Here's the serve from Goshen. IU East keeping the ball alive here to begin the third set. And the first point of the set will go to Goshen.
All right, so for IU East, this is 3 straight matches. Won the first set, lost the second. Goes without saying, if you can win the third, you're in a much stronger position to win in a 3 out of 5 match. So let's see if they can get themselves in a winning position by going up 2-1 for what would be the first time this season here.
That point went to the Red Wolves, tied at 1. Looks like Katrina Detweiler serving to start things here in the third set for the Red Wolves. Madison Yoder keeping the ball alive in the air. There's Livingston. Nice effort by Madison Mangus. A block up front by the Red Wolves gives them the 2-1 lead.
Pretty much a hustle point. Both teams scrambling on both sides of the net. Morgan Dobbs able to go up and make a play to give IU East the 2-1 lead.
Here's the serve from Detweiler. Yoder able to keep the kill attempt alive, and a point to the Red Wolves, 3-1.
Very authoritative kill by Mallory Livingston.
So 3-1 now for the Red Wolves. Looks like maybe the ball from the other court or something came over. I didn't really see what happened there.
I think you're right.
3-1. Here's the play in action. Detweiler. It's hit by Mangus. Dobbs hits it across the net. Back over onto the Maple Leaf side. Here's Bailey Gates. Detweiler. And there's Livingston. Double hit called on the Maple Leafs. And that gives IU East the 3-point lead, 4-1.
Very encouraging signs early in this set.
Point there went to Goshen. Lead cut to 2. 4-2 now is the score. Angela Dettering going back to serve for the Maple Leafs. The serve.
Back row attack by the setter.
So the lead that was once by 3, now narrowed down to a 1-point lead for the Red Wolves. 4-3, here's the serve. And that's off of Madison Yoder into the bleachers and tied at 4.
Quick serve, I mean, perfectly legal. I'm not trying to imply anything nefarious there, but I think it caught IU East not quite ready, and smart play by Goshen, quick free point.
There's Livingston across the court and gives the Red Wolves a 1-point lead, 5-4.
Mallory, very efficient this year. Last year led the team in kills, but the efficiency numbers for her probably weren't where she wanted them to be. This year, still, I believe, has led us in kills in every match, but just seems has been very productive in her swings this year. A lot of times she was getting called on in kind of desperation situations. This year, every swing she gets seems to be an opportunity she's able to take a swing with a purpose.
6-4 lead now for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve by Bailey Gates. Now adjust to the right side of Madison Mangus. Now a 6-5 game. The serve from Goshen. Morgan Dobbs gets it across the net for the Red Wolves. There's Morgan Steinbrenner. And a point to the Red Wolves off of what appears to be 4 hits.
Nice job by IU East. They were at a disadvantage really for the whole point until the very end. On the last time on the IU East side of the net, they were able to get a quality swing, and Morgan Steinbrenner took advantage of the opportunity that she had.
So a 7-5 lead now for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Caitlin Kelly. Steinbrenner able to try to keep the ball alive, but a point to Goshen, 7-6. And a point to Goshen will tie things up at 7. You really can't tell that Goshen ended up 9-25 last year. They're playing very well.
Yeah, again, they play in such a tough league that 9-25 there might very well translate to a 20-win season in a lot of other conferences around the Midwest. So, yeah, that number very misleading. They were we did play them last year. They appeared to be a very respectable team. They're caught in a very good conference, and when you got 10 very good teams in one league, someone's got to take the losses. And from the Goshen perspective, unfortunately, last year they struggled within the league.
Point to the Red Wolves, tied at 8.
Quick peek at Court 2. Indiana Tech takes set 2 against IU Kokomo, 28-26.
Goshen able to keep the ball alive. Back over onto the IU East side. Here's Deadweiler. Lots going on both sides of the floor right now. And Yoder unable to get to that one. Goshen will take a 1-point lead, 9-8.
Another of those, again, I'm writing down the stats as we go. The longer points go to 2 or even, in this case, 3 lines of notebook paper. Again, those are the ones you hate to lose because you invest so much in it. Almost feels like it's worth 2 or 3. Goshen's won its fair share of those. So as that you see that serve go out. So I like to see the Red Wolves, obviously they would too, once some of those start to go their way. I think that will make the difference in some of these close sets they've been having of late.
Tied up at 9. Madison Yoder serving for the Red Wolves. And right in front of, looks like Caitlin Kelly was the ball, and gives the Maple Leafs a 1-point lead, 10-9.
Nice play by Jamie Stack. She obviously went up and saw the opening and didn't put a whole lot on it, but there was enough of an opening that she just needed to be sure that she hit the opening, and she did for a point for Goshen.
Jamie Stack serving for the Maple Leafs, but there's a point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 10. Really back and forth between the two teams right now. Probably the closest they've played all evening.
Yeah, both of the first two sets, whichever team won the set had a bit of an advantage on the way to winning the set. So I guess you'd say the most competitive set to this point. Even though it's a 1-1 match, neither one of those sets were necessarily close. So, yes, very tight battles you would expect between what appear to be two evenly matched teams at this point.
11-10 lead now for the Goshen Maple Leafs. Here's the serve. And a point to Goshen once again, 12-10 now. There's Bailey Gates with a nice effort up front for the Red Wolves. Into the net off of Goshen, and that will narrow the lead down to 1. 12-11 now. IU East will serve and try to tie things up here.
Almost feel like the Red Wolves are due for a run. We haven't had one in a while. Apologies to any Goshen fans watching. We're a little biased on the IU East side, but had a huge run in that first set. It doesn't feel like they've had one since, so I just get the feeling that they might be due.
There's another point to the Red Wolves, ties it up at 12. As Katrina Detweiler will go back and serve for IU East. There's a point to the Goshen Maple Leafs. 1 point lead now, 13-12. And this one off the net and increases the Goshen lead by 2, 14-12.
Very strong serve there by Angela Dietering for Goshen. Had a lot of zip on it.
Madison Vegas up front, trying to get the ball across the net. Morgan Dobbs will hit long, and a 3-point lead now for the Maple Leafs, 15-12. IU East is going to take a timeout. Goshen leads 15-12 in the third set, match tied at 1. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Indiana University East online. This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East online.
Welcome back to IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. About 10 seconds left in the timeout as both teams walk back out onto the court. Goshen has a 15-12 lead over the Red Wolves here in the third set, with the match tied at 1 after each team has won a set at 25-20 apiece. Lead now cut to 2, 15-13. As the Red Wolves will begin to serve and try to make a comeback here. Bailey Gates serving for the Red Wolves, and that one's going to go long and increase the lead by 3 once more, 16-13.
All right, kind of danger time for IU East. It was a 1 or 2 point set, and then Goshen's pushed it out to 3 here recently, and we're getting down to crunch time. So Red Wolves, good time to tighten up. A run needs to be made. If you're going to 25, basically they need to win 12 of the next 20 points. So not a lot of room for error at this point.
Here's the serve. This one will go long as well, and 16-14 now. The Red Wolves only trail by 2. Ball in play. Up front, Morgan Steinbrenner, point for the Red Wolves, 16-15.
Really impressed with Morgan's, I'm a tennis guy, so I'm going to call it shot selection, but where she has chosen to hit the ball, place it, the speed to put on it, just seems like she's made the right decisions all day long. She was our, I believe, leading percentage attacker in the first couple matches. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she probably is today as well. Just really a efficient play for Morgan up front today.
A 2-point lead now for the Goshen Maple Leafs as number 15, Kelsey Smith, goes back to serve for Goshen. In the third set, match tied 1-1. Good rally here between the teams. Livingston is trying to get the ball across, but a point to the Maple Leafs. Now lead by 3. Looked like Mangus was able to get the ball across the net that time for the Red Wolves, but this one will hit the floor after it's off of the Red Wolves. Now a 4-point game. Goshen leads 19-15. Another point to the Maple Leafs. Now a 5-point lead, 20-15. Ball out of bounds on the left side, 21-15, and a timeout taken on the floor. So Goshen leads things here in the third set, 21-15. We'll be right back with more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Goshen 4 points away from ending the third set and taking the 2-1 lead. 21-15 here in the third set. Kyle, what have we seen so far?
IU East is Goshen is getting to be the chaser, and IU East is having to be the chasee. In other words, Goshen's been able to continue to put pressure on the IU East defense, make swings. IU East is hustling, keeping the ball in play, but they're not really been able to put any pressure on Goshen. At some point, something's got to give, and for the most part has, and that's why Goshen's been able to build this lead. They've been the dictating play, and IU East has been forced to respond, and no matter what sport it is, I'm sure I botched the volleyball terminology there, but any sport, whenever you're having play dictated to you, it's tough, and that's kind of what's happening at the moment.
Goshen now up by 7, 22-15. This one will be a point to the Red Wolves. 22-16. Now a 6-point game. Goshen 3 points away from 25. Here's Steinbrenner. This one will go to the Red Wolves, 22-17. There's a point to Goshen, 23-17. 6-point lead once again for the Maple Leafs.
Some IU East attacks starting to go astray as well. Even generally, could count on when we did get a swing, we'd get a good one, but now some of those attacks starting to miss as well, which is contributing to the score adding up in Goshen's favor the way it has in the last few points.
Serve there went into the net, so IU East will get a point out of it, 23-18. Point to Goshen. This will be set point. (24-18). Maple Leafs have the lead over the Red Wolves. And this one head out of bounds off the hands of Detweiler, and will bring the third set to a close at 25-18. So Goshen leads the match 2-1. We'll be right back with more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Goshen has the 2-1 lead over the IU East Red Wolves after winning the third set 25-18. They also took the win in the second set 25-20. IU East won the first set 25-20 as well. So Kyle, tell us a little bit about what we've seen so far.
Well, all of IU East matches, not just today, but this season, starting to look quite familiar. This is the third match now, and every one of them, IU East has won the first set, and thus far in every one of them, dropped the next two. As we know, the last couple matches, they went on to drop those matches in four, so certainly hoping that trend stops today. But the tale so far has been strong starts, but to date, haven't finished them yet. Now, a strong start's always good, so if we can just couple, a strong start that we seem to be able to, we can almost count on with a strong finish, that'll turn the tide in some of these results.
Now, do you think some of the problem this afternoon has just been being tired?
That's a fair question. This is normally you'd say, well, it's the same for both teams. In this case, this is just the first match of the day for Goshen, so that may have actually been a factor in the first set as well. Goshen, first match of the year, may have been a little jangled nerves there, which IU East may have taken advantage of. And now, yeah, that's a fair point later on with IU East being in its second match of the day. The turnabout there is some fatigue factor perhaps at play for IU East.
Goshen has the 1-0 lead here at the start of the fourth set. And that's off the hands of Detweiler out of bounds. 2-0 lead now for the Maple Leafs. That one, possibly a little miscommunication there between Morgan Dobbs and Madison Mangus as it kind of dropped in between them. 3-0 lead now for Goshen. Goshen able to keep the ball alive after a hard hit there from Katrina Detweiler. Ball still alive. This one will be off the hands of the Red Wolves, and a 4-0 lead now for Goshen.
Discouraging there. IU East very much in control of the point to start. Goshen made something out of nothing and forced the error by IU East, and they've got the 4-zip lead.
4-0. There's Bailey Gates with a hard hit across the net to the Maple Leafs. This one's going to be picked up there by Madison Mangus. And a point to Goshen, 5-0.
Credit where credit's due on that one. Goshen had a couple players not really in position to hit the ball the way they necessarily wanted. Both were able to make adjustments, and we got the point out of it.
Serve goes long, gives the Red Wolves their first point of the set, 5-1.
All right, need a quick answer here for IU East, not just to get back on the scoreboard, but to kind of get back in a good frame of mind too. I mean, a 5-point deficit can happen at many different stretches, but just the way those last two sets went, you got to figure they need a quick bounce back from that shaky start just to kind of right the ship as far as spirit-wise as well.
5-2 game now. Blocked up front by number 14, Sam Heberling.
Blocked out of bounds, though, so we'll take the point.
Taking a quick look over at Court 2. Indiana Tech leads IU Kokomo 21-14. Blocked up front by the Red Wolves, but the ball still in play off the net. And looks like a point to Goshen, 6-3.
Hit the net and rolled on the, if you're a Goshen fan, it rolled on the correct side. If you're an IU East fan, rolled on the wrong side.
Serve there went out of bounds. Lead now cut down to 2 points, 6-4 for Goshen.
All right, so climbed out of that early deficit, 6-4. That means they've won 4 out of the last 5. Let's see if they can keep some momentum going here.
This one staying in bounds for the Maple Leafs, now 7-4. Eight-4 now for Goshen. Here's the serve from the Maple Leafs. And a point to Goshen, 9-4.
And I think the fatigue factor is starting to creep in here. And it's something that 2 straight weekends there's going to be 4 matches in 24 hours. So it's something that going to have to play through. But again, we mentioned the first match. There's a small stretch where the reactions got a little bit hesitant. That's starting to creep in again.
That one blocked out of bounds. 10-4 now, Maple Leafs. There's a point to the Red Wolves, 10-5 after the serve went into the net. The serve from the Red Wolves. 2 hits called on Goshen, and a point to the Red Wolves, 10-6.
And Indiana Tech just wrapped up a win against IU Kokomo, 3-0.
Blocked up front by Morgan Steinbrenner. 10-7, cuts the lead down to 3.
And again, not that we ought to be thinking about tomorrow today, but if you're planning to tune in, IU East will play IU Kokomo at 11, and then they'll wrap it up against IU Tech, Indiana Tech at 1:30. And we plan to have both those on IUERedWolves.com.
Mentioned IUERedWolves.com. Also, don't forget to download the IU East Athletics app. Goshen leads 10-8 here in the 4th set and leads the match 2-1. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to IU East Red Wolves Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
IU East back within 2 points, 10-8 here in the 4th set. Goshen leads the match 2-1. IU East serving. Here's the serve from Caitlin Kelly. The ball back over in action on the Goshen side, and Goshen will have a kill to the floor. 11-8.
In spite of everything, I mean, only a 3-point deficit. I don't know about you, Caleb, but it feels to me like it could be more. So still within striking distance, can just string some solid points together. This thing's not out of reach yet.
Most definitely. That serve there by number 8, Danielle Plank, went into the net. And 11-9 now. Red Wolves will start to serve. Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East. That one just barely inside the line. 12-9 for Goshen.
Just barely.
Nice effort up front by Katrina Detweiler getting the ball across the net. 12-10. Ball over toward the right side of the floor. And that one will be a point to the Red Wolves, 12-11. IU East back within 1 point, a chance to tie it up here. Ball back in play. Livingston back, way back to keep the ball in action. Nice effort there by Madison Yoder. And nowhere to go back there in the backcourt. 13-11 now for Goshen. There's a point to the Red Wolves. Now 13-12.
Just hanging around. I was dead wrong last set. I made a point of saying I thought the Red Wolves were due for a run. It didn't happen. I'm not going to jinx it by saying it again, but again, only down by 1, still right in the match.
So 1 point game, 13-12. This one's going to go out of bounds off of Goshen and tie it up at 13. Tied up at 13. There's a hit from the Maple Leafs. And this one's going to go out of play off Goshen and give a 1-point lead to the Red Wolves.
Give the Red Wolves credit. They could have checked out very easily when it started this set 5-0 down. Also could have checked out at 10-5 down. And they've worked their way back to a 14-13 lead. And I personally think they can raise their level of play better. I don't think they're playing as well as they were as cleanly, I should say, as they were in the first set. So if they can get back to that level, this could go very nicely.
Up in the bleachers, back down onto the floor, off of the hands of Yoder, tied up at 14. One-point lead now to the Red Wolves, 15-14. Katrina Detweiler back to serve. Detweiler there for the Red Wolves, a 2-point lead now, 16-14.
Nice job getting a pretty clean hit from the back row out of system for IU East. And lo and behold, 2-point lead in the latter stages of a set. A situation you definitely want to be in once you get to this point of the set.
Red Wolves up by 2 in the fourth set. Maple Leafs lead the match 2-1. And 2 hits called on Goshen. Now a 17-14 lead. Goshen's going to call a timeout as IU East back up by 3, leading 17-14. We'll be right back with more IUE Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. 17-14. IU East has the lead. Kyle, what do you think what do you expect to see here at the end of the set?
If I knew that, I'd be in Vegas, but I do wish I had a decibel meter down by the team sidelines, because earlier in the set, the decibels would have been a lot higher as far as the cheering and enthusiasm on the Goshen side, and it was kind of dipping on the IU East side, and it's kind of reversed. That last time out was as noisy as I've heard the IU East bench in a while, so hopefully that means the energy is on the Red Wolf side of the court to hopefully, if you're an IU East fan, wrap up this fourth set or get through this fourth set and see what happens in a fifth.
Point to Goshen, 2-point lead. That one will be served into the net, make it a 3-point game once again, 18-15. Red Wolves up by 3. Time to see what's going on here. I'm going to stand up, Kyle. And looks like a point to Goshen, 18-16. Well, Goshen serving here. Both teams trying to win the fourth set here as Goshen has the 2-1 lead over IU East. There's Morgan Dobbs, and the point will go to Goshen. Now a 1-point game, 18-17.
Saw the opening, just didn't quite execute it the way she wanted, but the place she was trying to go with it was a pretty good idea.
Detweiler back in the back row for the Red Wolves. This one will stay in bounds for IU East. Now 19-17.
Red Wolves able to get a look-in system, a clean swing for Mallory, and I've said that multiple times today. If you get a clean swing for Mallory, you're going to get a point, and very timely for that to happen there.
So 19-17. IU East has the lead. Another point to the Red Wolves, 20-17. Looks like things are going toward or in favor for a fifth set, Kyle.
I don't want to jinx it. I've shown that power many times. Obviously, this is considerably better than down 10-5 in this set. Let's just hope they can keep the level of play. Again, I still think it can get even better, but it's gotten to a point where it's a winning level of play. Let's hope they can continue.
21-17 now, the lead for the Red Wolves. Increased the lead now by 4. No one there in time. 21-18. Back down to 3. Blocked up front by Steinbrenner, 22-18.
Again, just playing on much more even terms. I'm not going to attempt the terminology, but whereas before Goshen was just dictating play, now at the very least it's even. IU East maybe even dictating play a little bit itself. So just much more even terms for IU East to try to compete in this match.
22-19 after the point to Goshen. The serve from Jamie Stack.
That was great placement by Katrina Detweiler. Red Wolves a little discombobulated, but able to get it to Katrina in a spot where she could do something with it. Again, she has the ability to go placement over power. She saw an opening. Not an easy shot by any means, but she hit the open spot and a key point for IU East. If that doesn't go in, it's only a 2-point game. Instead, it's reasonably comfortable, a 4-point margin.
23-19. IU East has the advantage, trying to tie the match at 2-2. Go into a fifth set that's played to 15 points. This one will fall to the floor, 24-19, set points.
Good timing for that. Madison Mangas hasn't employed the setter dump too often, but she picked a great time to do it there.
There's a point to IU East. They'll take the fourth set, 25-19, and tie the match at 2. We'll be right back with more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Kyle Wright, all tied up at 2 apiece here at Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana. IU East won the first and fourth sets with scores of 25-20 and 25-19, and Goshen won the second and third sets 25-20 and 25-18. So this fifth set, played to 15, definitely should be interesting, don't you think, Kyle?
Yeah, very short set, obviously, so can't afford a slow start for either team. IU East, we talked about how early in the season it's your first time to do everything. So in IU East's case, first time for a fifth set. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. This is the second match of the day, so you got to believe this is as tired as they'll ever be. I mean that as a good way. It's better to experience this in August than experiencing it for the first time in, say, the conference tournament. So this is an excellent opportunity to see how they're going to respond in a situation like this. Finished the last set, won 20 of the last 29 points, which is a heck of a run. So, again, I don't want to jinx it. Based on the last 29 points, momentum's on IU East side, but, of course, that can change very quickly. Both teams really in need of a quick start to start this set.
Yeah, definitely cannot afford a slow start on either team's part. There's the first serve. It's going to go out of bounds off of Goshen and give the first point of the 15 to IU East.
So I don't have, a stat sheet in front of me, but it sure seems like Goshen's had a lot of missed serves of late, which has helped IU East stay in it when the early stages of the fourth set weren't going so well. And there's another one there.
Detweiler serve to get things started for the Red Wolves. However, a point to Goshen, tied at 1. Don't forget to follow the IU East Athletic Department on Facebook and Twitter at IUE Red Wolves.
Great angle by Mallory. Cross court, saw an opening, hit it with authority.
Red Wolves with the 2-1 lead. There's Bailey Gates serving for the Red Wolves. This one unable to be returned by the Maple Leafs. 3-1 lead now for IU East.
Whatever Bailey does, she does it with authority. I know we've been singing her praises all evening long, but the areas where she's stat-wise excelling, blocks and aces, those are the ones that you just notice. So definitely Bailey's someone that appears to be someone that can be a momentum getter for IU East. 2 straight aces at a great time.
4-1 now. 3-point lead for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Gates. Blocked up front by Dobbs. And that one will fall into the open spot on the floor. 4-2 now. Here's the serve. That one will go long and a point to the Red Wolves. A 3-point advantage over the Maple Leafs, 5-2.
And 2 of those are from aces, 2 of those through missed serves. So if IU East can win a majority of points actually within the flow of play too, they've got a nice little advantage just on the serve-receive game right now.
There's the 5-2 serve. This one to the floor, 5-3. Only a 2-point game once more. Couple of Goshen players checking in, getting back into rotation, and into serve is Kelsey Smith. Goshen Libero unable to do anything there. 6-3 now for the Red Wolves.
There's a lot of stats I look forward to seeing on the stat sheet when this is over. One of them is going to be Morgan Steinbrenner's hitting percentage. I just can't recall a whole lot of touches that didn't go for kills for her tonight.
Steinbrenner unable to do anything up there at the front of the net. Just a little close. 6-4. Nice one there by the Red Wolves. Looked like Katrina Detweiler with the kill. 7-4 now.
Katrina got a clean swing at a free ball. That's one, when I go to look for highlights tonight, I just put a star on my sheet. That's one we're going to be looking for the highlights at IUERedwolves.com.
Just under halfway for the Red Wolves to their first win of the regular season. Off the net, a point to the Red Wolves, 8-4.
Definitely a side change. Goshen might think about a timeout as well. Now they're just. Did you see a timeout signal?
No, I did not.
So must just be going with the side change. They'll probably hope for the side change as a momentum breaker as well.
So IU East has the 4-point lead, 8-4. I'll be honest with you, Cal, that's the first time I've ever seen a side change like that. What's the
just
doing that?
In case there is a difference from one side to the other, just so that both teams have an equal situation or equal chance to win in the fifth set. If let's say that you've got a really weird gym where the ceiling is low on one side, not the other. That doesn't happen much at this level, obviously, but in the unique situations where there could potentially be an advantage on being on one side or the other, during the first four sets you'll change, and then that way it's an even contest in the fifth set.
All right, well, IU East leads 8-4 as there's a timeout on the floor. We'll be right back with more IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. All right, looks like we're ready to go after the timeout and side change. Serve into the net there by Madison Yoder, 8-5 now.
Hate to give away a point. Obviously, if you're going to do it up 4 is not a bad time, but again, with the momentum going your way, hate to do anything to change that.
Kill by Detweiler, out of bounds, 8-6.
Big point here. IU East lead has been as comfortable as you can ever get in a fifth set throughout. Need this to keep it that way, otherwise it's a one-point game.
That one out of bounds as well. Now a 1-point game, 8-7. Lots going on both sides of the net. There's Detweiler. And this one will hit the floor on the IU East side of the net and tie it up at 8.
Another one of those longer points we'll have to check at the end. It seems like most of those are going not only Goshen's way, but the longer points have been a bugaboo throughout the season. See if they can turn the momentum here. 4 points in a row for Goshen, but that's their third miss of the set. So a third of the Red Wolves' points in this last set off of the missed serves.
9-8, Red Wolves have the lead. Only 6 points away for the Red Wolves to their first win of the season. Good reaction there by the Red Wolves. Bailey Gates getting the ball across the net, and a point for the Red Wolves, 10-8.
Good response by IU East. Lost 4 points in a row coming out of that timeout, but responded with 2 in a row. have yet, I believe they have, knock on wood, yet to trail in this last set.
There's a kill by the Maple Leafs to make it a 1-point game once again, 10-9. Really getting down to crunch time here in the fifth set. What do you think we'll see, Kyle?
Whoever can keep their legs going. Again, tennis was more my sport, but the person that can keep moving, usually if your feet are moving, you're in better positions. You tend to make better decisions because you are in position to make a good decision, or you have more options with decisions. So, and at this point, it's not just fatigue. There's going to be nerves involved too. So, whoever can, I always say, start with the feet. Be in a good position to not only make good plays, but also have good options for your decisions. That's who's going to have the advantage as we come down the home stretch here.
Serve goes long, 11-10. On the previous play, it went out of bounds off of the Maple Leafs defense. Here's Livingston. Dobbs. Lots of hard work on both sides of the court right now. And a point to the Red Wolves, 12-10.
Mallory Livingston hit two great attacks there. The first one took a rather incredible dig by Sam Heberling from Goshen to keep the point alive. I thought Goshen had kind of turned the tide there, but Mallory with another remarkable angle to find an opening and get the point for IU East, keep that lead at 2.
All right, IU East has the 12-10 lead. We'll be right back with the end of the fifth set. You're watching IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 12-10, IU East has the lead. And that will be a point to Goshen, 12-11 off the tip out of bounds. 12-11 in the fifth set, match tied at 2. Here's the serve from Goshen. This one will be out of bounds off the Red Wolves, ties things up at 12. Lots of people from Indiana Tech sitting around watching the final moments of this game.
Yep, everyone plays everyone tomorrow that's in the gym right now, so a chance for the teams that just got done to do a bit of extra scouting.
Here's the serve. And this one will hit the floor. 13-12, Red Wolves.
Such a huge swing of events there. That was a pretty, well, I guess it wasn't a clean look. I thought it was a pretty clean look for the Goshen attacker, but Mallory and Morgan Steinbrenner are right there for the block. And again, going to 15, not to be Captain Obvious, but up 13-12 is a heck of a lot better than down 13-12. So a huge swing there. And speaking of huge swings.
There's a kill by Goshen, ties it up at 13. Do still have to win by 2.
Do have to win by 2, yes.
All right, tied up at 13. Be a big play here for either team. It's going to stay on the Goshen side of that. Red Wolves with the 1-point lead, 14-13.
Another huge turn of events there. Could have gone either way. Again, not to restate the obvious, but that's the difference between being in position to win it with 1 point or lose it with 1 point. Big play by Madison Mangus at the net.
Here's the serve from Mallory Livingston. Steinbrenner over the top of the net and a point to the Red Wolves. Red Wolves will win the fifth set 15-13 and take their first win of the regular season. Now with a 1-2 record, winning 3-2 tonight over the Goshen Maple Leafs. So good win tonight after a long and really kind of fatiguing day for the Red Wolves, starting early this morning with the long bus ride and 2 matches this afternoon. So Red Wolves take the 3-2 win over the Goshen Maple Leafs. We'll be back here in just a few moments with the post-game interview with Coach Abby Niekamp. Red Wolves take the 3-2 win over the Goshen Maple Leafs. You're watching IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
Welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Of course, the Red Wolves just took their first win of the regular season, now 1-2 on the season after winning the first, fourth, and fifth sets with scores of 25-20, 25-14, and 15-13. Still waiting on head coach Abby Niekamp to get up here after such a good win there for the Red Wolves. Kyle, tell us a little bit about what you saw tonight.
Well, I'm impressed. Again, down 10-5 in the fourth, down 2-1. I was not thinking it looked good, but credit to the Red Wolves, pulled it out the fourth, and then some clutch plays, some clutch blocks late in the fifth to be in position to win. And Morgan Steinberg, that 15th point when you're looking for your first win is a big one, and she stepped up and put that away to finish it off.
All right, definitely a great match there out of the Red Wolves. Now joining me is head coach Abby Niekamp. Coach, what did you think about today as a whole?
Oh, I thought it was a roller coaster for us. You know, we're such a new team. We're just trying to figure out where we play best and who plays best where.
Now, Kyle and I talked. It seems really kind of like the first and fourth sets right now are the strong points for the Red Wolves. What's that in your opinion?
I think it's just we struggle to bring the consistent effort every single time. We lose a little bit of focus after that first set because we think it's an easy win. And that's when the other teams are normally just getting started. So we just need to find a consistent effort.
Is that just part of being such a young team?
I think it's part of being a new team. I think youth definitely has something to do with it, but I think we're going to find our niche pretty soon here.
IU Kokomo and Indiana Tech tomorrow. What do you know about them?
They're going to be tough competitors. They have some great kids coming back this year. I know they both had great recruiting classes, so it's going to be a tough day tomorrow.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining me. Congratulations on the first win of the season. Nice to get that first one under the belt so far. And once again, Red Wolves take the win tonight, 3-2, with scores of 25-20, 25-14, and 15-13 in the fifth set. Red Wolves now 1-2 on the regular season. Coach, thanks once again for joining me. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Once again, Red Wolves take on IU Kokomo at 11 a.m. and Indiana Tech following at 1:30. Once again, thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time tomorrow. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your Indiana University Red Wolves.